All right, so the flip of how these types of problems can go is, in this case, now the areas are going to be given to us and we have to find the sides. So we're sort of changing it up. We're still using the same formula. So the formula still has not changed, so I'm going to put it down here. So A1 over A2 equals S1 over S2 quantity squared. All right, but now it's telling us area of the parallelogram ABCD. So this area is 150 meters squared, and the area of the one on the left is 54 meters squared. Okay, if the two parallelograms are similar, so that's the key, we're going to find two things. Step 1, we're finding the scale factor, and step 2, we're finding the value of x. Okay, so there's two important things we have to find, but we have to use the formula first. So I'm going to make this figure 1 and this figure 2. Let me make these A's and B's so we know we don't think they're the same thing. All right, so if we use the formula below, A1, 54, A2, 150, equals side 1, x, side 2, 10. Don't know it. Squared. That square has to go to both. So you get 54 over 150 equals x squared over 100. Cross multiply, you end up with 5400 equals 150 x squared. When you divide by 150, you get x squared equal to 36. And when you take the square root, you get x equal to 6. So there's two things we are finding. We are finding x and we are finding the scale factor. So what this did is it helped us find x. Well, x is 6. And make sure you have your units with it. So 6 meters. Part 2 to this is our scale factor. So scale factor is S1 over S2. So that would be 6 over 10, which then needs to be reduced. They're both divisible by 2, which gets us 3 over 5. So that is our scale factor. All right, let's try 2 more of these. And these are ones that you definitely could try on your own and see if you can get the same answers that I get in my videos. All right, so we know they're similar. Check. We have areas and we have to find sides. So same as what we had above. So I'm just labeling these 1 and 2. And we are finding two things. So we're finding scale factor and we are finding x. So 2 values. So we have what we have here. We're going to plug it in. So we have 50 area over 72 equals x over 6 quantity squared. We're going to square each of those terms. And we end up with x squared over 36. When we cross multiply, we get 1800 equals 72x squared. When we divide by 72, we get 25. And when we take the square root, we end up with 5. So we want x and we want the scale factor. So x we found out. And we're in inches, so we have 5 inches. Scale factor would then be side 1 over side 2, which would be 5 over 6. And that is already reduced. So nothing else can be done there. All right. Last and final one. So we have area 1, 400, area 2, 64, side 1, 40, side 2 is x. So now our x is in the bottom, but it's, again, not changing anything. So we're going to associate that square to each of those terms. So when we do that, we get 1600 over x squared. When you cross multiply and divide and isolate that x squared, you end up with, yikes, 256. And when you take the square root, you end up with x equaling 16. So we had 2 answers we were finding, x and the scale factor. So x is done, 16, and we're talking millimeters here. And then in terms of scale factor, well, that's side 1, 40, over side 2, which is 16, and they are both divisible by 8, and you end up with 5 over 2. Okay, so just keep in mind there are going to be multiple answers in the homework, just like there were on the note sheet, so just make sure you give both parts because I'll be checking